This is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
Can't accept the loss, I'm hard-headed. There's a little bit of madness to my method. Many falling off that fine line that I'm treading. I risk anything to be great, and I'm not letting nobody rob me of my victory. Number one, that's what I'm meant to be. When by any means, only thing that makes sense to me, I can make nice or make history. I got that dog in me, yeah, turn me up. Big energy, got the crowd going nuts. I got that dog in me, any up. I take on anyone, I don't need a one-on-one. I got that dog in me, yeah. I'm talking all bite, no bark. I could rip your squad apart. I got that dog in me, so what's up? Yeah, 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 so what's up?
And the matchup we've all been waiting for is here, or at the very least, almost here. And we're going to talk about that right now. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Mid-Del Sports Report. I'm Jordan Ray. Great to be with you. We get to be here once again at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Del City. It's football season at your neighborhood Buffalo Wild Wings, and basketball season's coming as well. It's here, actually, but still a lot of football to enjoy. And you got 64 TVs, beer, burgers, and, wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is the best choice to watch the game. So bring the gang and join us at one of their 9 metro locations. Buffalo Wild Wings, your home for any game day. Roar. And, of course, we got Keyline Productions as our other sponsor for the Mid-Del Sports Report, creating your custom needs, led by Rakita Kearney. Some of their services they provide include custom merchandise, custom logos, flyers, and websites. Their website is www.keylineproductions.com. All right, we're going to start by talking about the Del City side of this matchup as they defeated Claremore last week in Noble and earned their first trip to a state championship game, I believe, since 1976 when they last won state. And we're going to talk to their offensive coordinator, Kelby McGuire. Coach, I guess Coach Jones, he kind of big-timed us talking to Mark Rogers. He was talking with Bob Stoops earlier this week. So he's got a lot going on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a popular guy. Everybody talking to him, interviewing him, so he's been staying pretty busy.
All right, let's look back at your victory once again. You guys just relentless on that first drive. I mean, I don't know if there's been one time you haven't scored a touchdown your first drive, at least since the Booker T game, if not the whole season.
Yeah.
And this time you did it by overcoming some penalties.
Yeah.
Talk about how that went, how you guys didn't get too down and frustrated with the calls, and you started to execute at the end there.
It's, for me, it's been one thing throughout the season. I've just tried to penalties are going to happen, things are going to happen, but it's how we respond from that after that, whether it's the next play, the next drive. And there pretty early on, we were shooting ourselves in the foot quite a bit. I think LaDainian had 2 penalties himself that first drive and kind of backed us up, and then he ended up being the guy that bailed us out on a touchdown pass. So it's just, for me, calling it and, having to deal with it, it's going to happen. I understand that. It's just about how we respond and what that next play is going to be to get us out of it.
Yeah, it seems like no matter the down and distance, you can always count on LaDainian being open over the top. I mean, what do you see defenses try to do? Do they try to do anything different with them and it just doesn't work? Or how would you describe what you see from the opposing defense?
We so a lot of times you got to assume with a guy like him that can, beat you just about anywhere, that teams are going to game plan for him. We've had some people that have bracketed him. I expect there to be some sort of plan for him this Saturday. But he's a special player, so you got to account for him. Otherwise, we weren't. We had some ideas what we thought Claremore was going to do, and they came out that first drive just stayed true to their man-free concept that we had seen in film, building up to it, and we were able to hit them early there with them. So, and then throughout the duration of the game, he had 200+ receiving yards. So,
that's pretty good for a receiver. You don't normally hear that in high school.
Yeah. No, he put on a show last Friday for sure.
And also, I mean, you're using your run game to set up your pass a lot. How would you describe how Rodney ran the ball now? Obviously, a lot of eyes are going to be on him Saturday regarding how much energy he has. Is he close to 100%?
Yeah.
How would you say how would you describe how you've seen him the last couple weeks?
I thought he's done well. He's been playing defense. He's been playing linebacker for us as well. So, one way to keep him healthy is, getting, other guys some carries. We've had several guys that have stepped up. One thing about that running back position for us is we're pretty deep, like we are in a lot of spots. We're deep there. If Rodney needs a blow, we've, been using Braylon Adama, Ricklin Holmes. And then just when you think we're out of guys, Shaden Green will come in there and take one to the house. So we're, that has helped Rodney is just, other guys stepping up and not having, he hadn't had to carry the full load really. And other guys have stepped up and been big for us.
Yeah, that was interesting. You decided to go with Adama back at running back. He was playing receiver a lot, and I guess, you can play him just about anywhere.
Yeah.
Because he takes snaps, obviously, in your jumbo formation, or whatever you call that.
Uh-huh.
But what was the decision there to use him as your second running back? Because it had been Reek Lindholm at times, it had been Shaden Green at times. What made you decide to use Adama as your second back?
Oh, just he's a good program kid. He's been been here since elementary school, junior high, high school. He's a 3-year starter. Was our starting tailback last year. And when Rodney and them came over, he was pretty selfless and was willing and didn't pout about moving to receiver, and he runs the ball hard. So Coach Jones, Coach Jones kind of sparked the idea. Said, man, he's just a hard-nosed runner. He's somebody that we need to get in there and give him more touches. So.
All right, and I noticed you also got McAllister involved as a tight end.
Yeah. Something
we hadn't seen a lot of, but what can you say about him as a receiver? Because we know about him on defense. He makes so many plays on defense.
Yeah. Jay Sean, he's just probably after Braylon. He's like, I would say probably our most complete just football player. Like, he's played linebacker. He started last year as a sophomore at Sam linebacker. He's played backer this year. He's played safety. He's a pretty good receiver. And he's just tough. We just, we thought, he's not very big. He's about 6 foot, 6'1", like 170 pounds, but he's physical. So we knew, even though he's a little undersized for a tight end, that he'd come in and he'd give us everything he had, and then still give us something in the pass game with the tight end. So that's just been going on here a few weeks, but it's been pretty. I've liked what we saw out of it with him.
And I've been asking. I asked River, I asked Coach Jones last week, are they ready for when the team can finally take away LaDainian as a receiver? But it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? You have said you feel really good about your depth of receiver.
Yeah.
But it just one clearly stands out, so he's getting the lion's share of the passes thrown at him.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about your receivers now heading into this game in case they're needed, in case that option to number 9 is not there?
I feel good about our guys. These guys, we've been grinding and talking about this for even longer before August. This has all been going on and kind of building up before that, and I just I trust what we got. I think if they're able to guard him and do different things to cover him up, I think the next 2, 3, 4, 5 guys we got are plenty capable of making plays. So
they'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember when Claremore scored their first touchdown, but I know it was a drive that did involve some penalties on defense.
Yeah.
And the reason I asked that, how did Coach Jones and you for your offense handle the penalty situation? What was the message to your team at halftime?
We can't have them. Sometimes it's plays that you look at it and you're like, maybe it was kind of could have gone either way type of deal. And then sometimes it's like blatantly, just bad ideas on our end, and you just got to be smarter. That was one thing I always preach, is that we have to hold on to the ball. That's no turnovers, limit the penalties, and just play a clean brand of football. So.
And your jumbo package, because that's what Braylon calls it.
Uh-huh.
When he takes the snap at what's called a wildcat, I guess. It seems like you're more and more confident with that. And what do you feel? How do you feel about how it's been? I mean, how would you describe, I guess, why it's so effective?
Just getting big bodies out there, guys that we trust. It's not like we could, but we don't. I mean, it's designed for short down and distance. Third and short, fourth down, maybe 4th and 1, 4th and 2 type deal. But we're just confident in it because we got obviously our offensive line and some big body blocker type guys, and then him back there. He those guys make it all work, but he's the one that adds the theatrics to it with some of the runs he's made out of it, and we're just asking him to get a couple yards. So
he's got a lot more sometimes.
Yeah. So we just trust it because who we got, who's up front, and who's running the ball. So.
I guess it'd be a good time to ask, and I didn't get their names down because I just thought of this. But who are the lead blockers in your jumbo package that make this work so well?
Rickland Holmes is one of them, and Fred Casby.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Rickland did get hurt, I believe, but how was he? I think he came back that game.
Yeah.
So how would you say he's doing now?
Doing good.
Okay.
Doing good.
I know you want to have all the bullets in your chamber there.
Yep.
And when they when Claremore scores late in the game, and I know that was on your side of the ball. That's on defense, but they really wanted to score to end the game on a positive note for them, to end the season on the positive note for them, and they called a timeout late to run one more play and all that. Is that still something that Coach Jones will use as a teaching tool for his defense?
Oh yeah, for sure. We had at that point gotten a lot of guys out, so that was, they not to take away from their touchdown, but it was the last second, and it was against, basically our JV secondary, JV defense, which dang near held them out there till that last play. So, but yeah, I mean, Coach Jones, being the fiery guy he is and the defensive-minded guy he is, he never, whether it's last second, starting guys, JV guys, he never wants to give up points. So they definitely, defensively addressed it to correct those mistakes, things like that.
So what's this week been like? Because I know on social media I've seen John Kilty. He's talked to a lot of different people around Del City High School and Del City Middle School, trying to drum up support for you guys. It is new territory for your coaches and your players.
Yeah.
And I know you just want to focus on one thing, the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
But what's it been like as far as the anticipation goes?
Honestly, I thought coming into the week, I wasn't sure what it would be like. But it's just really, to this point, it's just kind of been another week. We've gone to school, kids gone to school, I've, been in class, get them out, go through our meetings, we lift, we practice, get after it like we always do. It's just, honestly, it's been another week. I wasn't sure, like, with all the anticipation for this thing, I wasn't sure, like, with news outlets and things like that, if that would be something, but it hadn't read. It's just been a normal 3 days of – seems like another week getting ready to play.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, Coach Jones has absorbed a lot of that. Again, talking to Bob Stoops on a Zoom call, that has to be pretty fun. And then Mark Rogers tonight, apparently. So,
yeah.
All right, let's talk about Carl Albert. I mean, what's interesting is your guys are fully aware of them, but you can't really think much about them when they're not on your schedule.
Yeah.
But I know you're familiar with the names, and obviously you played them last year and you came up short, and I know that'd be frustrating because you couldn't put any points on the board. So and then you get that rematch, but also it's more important is what's at stake.
Yeah.
So when we look at their defense, they obviously got a lot of speed, a lot of talent across the board.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about this challenge you see in the Titan defense?
I think they're very talented. A lot of big names that we've heard about and been hearing about. Coached well. I know that defense coordinator over there does a good job. Making sure they're prepared. And Coach Dunn obviously does a great job over there. But we're excited. It's not a. It's not somebody that we're unfamiliar with. They're in our district. These kids have been playing these kids for, maybe not this year, so to speak. We played them in JV, but junior high, building up to this. So it's we're familiar with them, but at this level, it's going to be different, especially with what's at stake. But I feel good. I think the kids are excited. Our coaches are excited. Just this opportunity and what could be and what we're expecting here Saturday.
I wouldn't mind going down the field and just recording film of Ladanian matched up with Tristan Haynes.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you expect that, but is this Ladanian's toughest matchup? I'm not asking who gets the edge there. We'll see. But, is that whether he lines up against him or maybe Trey Washington or they got number 8 DeAndre. They're playing at cornerback. Is this the toughest matchup he's had?
Yeah. I mean, it could be. I know those kids are talented, and those like you said with the Haynes kid covering him and stuff like that. That's something that I expect to happen. We expect to happen. So it'll be a challenge. Those are good players. They're well coached, and we. Ladanian, myself, the rest of us, we all anticipate and look forward to the challenge.
And then their linebacking core is good, and it seems like they'll put Caden Davis anywhere on the field along the front 7.
Yeah.
And so is that something you're preparing for him being on different places, or do you even not so much worry about him?
He's a good player, too, in himself. I know a lot of those other guys get a lot of notoriety over there, but that kid is he's got a good motor. He played last year in that second round game. He played defensive end against us, got after us there, and I've seen that they've been using him more at the second level as their Mike backer. But I would expect that at some point he's going to put his hand down and come after us. And again, it's another challenge that we eagerly anticipate and are excited for.
All right, I'm going to ask a couple questions off offense because and I know you're not focused on other aspects as much as you are on offense, but I am curious, how would you, and I know you got maybe be a little diplomatic about this, but how would you compare Kevin Sperry to River Warren? I'm not asking who's better, but it seems like there's not, when I watch both of them, they both seem very similar in what they can do.
Yeah.
And both they can run some when they need to, but they're great in the pocket too, throwing.
Yeah, I think I haven't got to watch Sperry as much as I have River, obviously. And then obviously in prep for this, I'm not
You're not focused
really
on him.
looking at him, but I know he's talented. I know he can throw the ball and make throws, a lot of throws, and I think a lot of all the throws he can make, I think River can make them as well, and I think he's shown it. And he wants it, and I think it'll be a good quarterback matchup. Probably those are two big name guys, so it'll be fun to see them both get after it Saturday.
And how do you feel about? You're the one area where Carl has a bit more experience is in the kicking game. especially kicking extra points, maybe field goals. How do you feel about your point after or your kicking game heading into this matchup?
I feel good about it. It's all that's one of the three phases. Everybody always talks offense, defense, but special teams can make you break you, especially in a big game like this. They're well coached on that phase as well over there, just like I think we are. And I feel confident. I think our kicker Byron Paramo, he does a good job. He's confident. And I think I expect him whenever we score, he'll go out there and drill it and get us that extra point. All
right, and feel free to say no comment to what I'm about to ask you here. But you got some good trick plays lined up?
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, one more question. This isn't really meaningful for this week, but I am curious. Are these schools going to play early next season? Are you guys scheduling them for non-district play, or do you even know who that is yet?
I have an idea who it is. I don't think we were able to do it.
Okay.
I think I'm trying to think.
I know you won't be playing Midwest City in non-district plays, so that's why
I think
I'm
it's
curious.
Who is it? I think it's Booker T and Lawton Ike, and then somebody else. I know Coach Dunn and Coach Jones were in talks about it, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
Well, we'll find out later, but it's just something I'm curious about. But that'd be cool if you could play the Eagles, Eagles versus Eagles. So, all right, but that's next year. So, Coach, thank you very much. And just any final thoughts on what's important for your offense heading into this game?
I just want us to, play good, sound, fundamental Del City football, and that's what's got us here. And I believe in our head coach. I believe in Coach Jones and what he brings and how he runs this program. And I believe in our players and the time and preparation they put in. And I think everything that's happened to us and everything the things we've been through as a team, the good and the bad, the highs and lows. I just think we were meant for this moment. I'm excited.
Well, that makes two of us. All right. Well, Coach, thank you very much, and good luck the next couple days preparing for this big game against Carl Albert. We look forward to it. And you guys can tune in to the Del City channel of the Oklahoma Sports Network. It will be an audio-only broadcast, but we encourage you to listen, whether you're going to watch the game on the other network that has it on or just want to listen. You'll see the scoreboard shown and hopefully the clock and the down distance. You'll see some things. We just won't be able to see the actual game, but you'll hear a great call from John Kilty and Colton Fleetwood. And the coverage will start around 12:30. Kickoff should be around 1 o'clock as undefeated Del City will take on undefeated Carl Albert for the state championship in 5A. All right, speaking of Colton Fleetwood, we're going to talk to some members of the media, if you will, who've been covering both teams. So we're looking forward to that. He'll be one of them. You are watching the Mid-Del Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
offering reliable commercial and residential services to the OKC metro area for over a decade. From new construction and remodeling to residential repair, they can handle jobs of all sizes. When you need a trusted name in plumbing, it's Red Plains Plumbing. Family owned and operated. Phone 405-769-1922. That's 405-769-1922.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and asked yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes,
Call Rob and Will.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
Yeah, you got it. Let's go. Go, Miranda. Travis! What business do you want to start?
I want to start a car mechanic shop.
Let's say we go to Sizzle Food.
Ready to go get some coffee?
Yeah, let's go. It's a great space.
Yeah, and it's so close to downtown.
You want to go grab something to eat? Let's do it.
What time it due? Last Wednesday or last Friday?
Yeah. You got it.
I think she was from
One,
Rose State.
2, 3.
Woohoo!
Congratulations, Rose State College graduates.
Experience the best wash in town at Tommy's Express. You'll love our open and bright tunnels, easy loading flat belt conveyor, unlimited membership, and free vacuums and mat washers. Experience the difference and visit Tommy's Express today.
Red Plains Plumbing has been offering reliable commercial and residential services to the OKC metro area for over a decade. From new construction and remodeling to residential repair, they can handle jobs of all sizes. When you need a trusted name in plumbing, it's Red Plains Plumbing. Family owned and operated. Phone 405-769-1922. That's 405-769-1922.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
have you ever seen an insurance commercial and asked yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes,
call Rob and Will.
This is my time, I'm on the rise, can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time, ready to shine, brighter than all of the lights, cause when it's game time
All right, welcome back again to the Middale Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Again, we're at Buffalo Wild Wings. Please come to Buffalo Wild Wings. We got a lot of basketball on right now, all over the place, as basketball season has been going strong for the last several weeks. Also, it's still football season, especially on the weekends. Some great games coming up this Saturday. Of course, we're going to talk about the best high school game on, but other big games will be on as well. So go to your neighborhood Buffalo Wild Wings. We've got 64 TVs, beer, burgers, and, of course, wings. They're the best option for whatever sports you want to watch while you get to eat some delicious food. They have over 9 metro locations, but we, of course, love the one here on Tinker Diagonal in Del City. Buffalo Wild Wings, your home for any game. And then, of course, we also want to thank Keyline Productions, led by Rakita Kearney. They create your custom needs, and the services they provide include custom merchandise, custom logos, flyers, and websites. Their website is www.keylineproductions.com. Okay, so we're going to do something a little different here, as we are, again, only going to focus on one thing, and that is the 5A championship at UCO this Saturday between Del City and Carl Albert, both teams undefeated. And we're going to try to get Coach Dunn on in his normal time slot or close to it. And so right now, during this time slot, we're going to talk to the color commentator for Del City football on the Oklahoma Sports Network, Colton Fleetwood, and then Jacob Stern from the Midwest City Beacon, who is one of the beat writers who covers a lot of Carl Albert football. So, gentlemen, welcome on. Jacob, just meeting you right now, so thank you for coming on.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, we're glad to have you. So first, I noticed your name when I looked up the last several Carl Albert games on the Oklahoma, not the Oklahoma Sports Network, but through the Midwest City Beacon. So how many games have you seen roughly this year?
I've seen probably 5 or 6 of the ones for sure. But I think the most notable one was probably the one in Guthrie. I went up there and got to see that one. That was probably the best game of the bunch to this point. But, for the most part, I've seen a lot of them this year. I did get to see a lot of them last year too. But, of course, this team, a little bit, I guess there's some high-profile names that weren't here last year. So just kind of adding to the fun of this one. So.
Well, if you saw the Guthrie game, you saw the game as far as tightness there. Colton, welcome. You're like the forefather of the show. You know that.
Yeah, I was just telling him about it. What was that, 5 years ago? Or
4 years ago.
4 years ago, yeah. That was a lot of fun, and I was just telling him, Coach Dunn was at Del City then, and now he's at Carl Albert, and one of his good friends is the coach at Del City, so it makes this a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So let's get into this matchup here. First of all, Jacob, you mentioned the new players for Carl Albert. Yeah, absolutely. Kevin Sperry, Marcus James, they were big in that Guthrie game. And so what do you see as being maybe different about this Carl Albert team when you watch them compared to last year when you saw them as well in their march to state championship?
So I think the best place to start with that would just be they're more balanced this year. I guess the quarterback position, I mean, not that they didn't utilize the air last year, but – I think Xavier Robinson has had more to do last year than he has this year because they're trying to mesh that together and show that they aren't just a one-dimensional running team that's going to prioritize just running the football. They're going to be able to throw it too. And, whenever you can put that together, you're going to get more complete offenses and you're going to be a challenge to stop in more ways than one. And I think that's probably the main difference that I've seen throughout this season.
Yeah, I didn't really watch him a lot last year, but I know that Xavier Robinson was putting up big numbers for him last year, and this year, much fewer attempts. We'd have to say, and so I just wonder how that's going to impact him. Not that he wasn't playing well heading into the championship game last year, but he's got to be pretty fresh. When you think?
Yeah, I think that would be the expectation for me would be if there was a guy that's going to jump off statistically jump off the page when you're looking at this game next week maybe. I would think maybe Xavier Robinson would be that guy just because there's been less trial and error that he's had to go through this year. He's been less hit. There's just more things that teams have to focus on. And so when you're looking at this team specifically, I think that yes, you kind of mentioned being fresh. I think that's definitely something that they're going to be emphasizing is to get him more touches in this one specifically because of the monumental aspect of it.
And one more question for you about Carl Albert, and I'm going to switch to Colton here. But we'll focus right now on their offense. We'll get to their defense here later on. But is Tristan Haynes the best receiver you've seen this year? I
think so.
Yeah.
I mean, Trinae Washington's even been a really good receiver for Carl Albert.
I agree.
But, I do think the upside that Tristan Haynes offers is probably something that no other high school player that I've seen this year has been able to provide. So, yeah I definitely agree with that.
There's a reason that he's been offered by Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so Colton, I mentioned those three names because Del City has three similar players.
Mm-hmm.
And River Warren at quarterback, Rodney Fields at running back, and LaDainian Fields at receiver. And, of course, you were calling games last year for UConn, but then the year before you were calling games for Del City when they won their first district championship in several years.
Yeah.
And they had a pretty strong team that year, but they were in 6A2 and, just ran into a tough Sand Springs team. So what's different about this Del City team as far as their upside, you would say?
I think it's maturity. They're a mature football team. They're very disciplined. And 2 years ago, I think they were probably the better team going against Sand Springs. And, from what Coach Jones has talked about, they just didn't play a good game. And this season, I think they remind them of that a lot. Even though some of these players weren't there a couple of years ago, they still remind them of that to let them know the possibilities that can happen. So throughout the whole playoffs, they've been super disciplined. They've been ready to go. They've started games really fast. And, for Del City, too, they don't turn the football over. It's very rare when they turn the football over. River Warren's only thrown 6 interceptions on the season, and a lot of those came early. A couple of them were just tipped balls. So they're a disciplined team. They're a smart team. And they're much more mature than they were a couple of years ago, even last season as well.
Yeah, they had one against Choctaw because we know they had 2 pick sixes early on, both teams, and not many since.
No.
Was River Warren, now you have some connections with him. Was he, better than you expected this year?
For River, I think early on in the season it took him some time to get used to, new teammates, right? It took him a little bit of time to build that chemistry, but my gosh, him and LaDainian Fields the last 6 weeks or so have been on a tear, and they have just figured out their game and their chemistry. And Braylon Adama is another one that's been a key piece. Katie Palmer, a sophomore as well. So for River, he's gotten more comfortable as this season has gone on, and I think starting to look like that Division I quarterback that people anticipated he would be.
And Rodney Fields. Now what's interesting is kind of his evolution as a player. Early in the season, he was a workhorse.
Yeah. And
then I think they've been more balanced, but not only that, they're giving more handoffs to other players and using him more in linebacker. I know he got a little banged up. How do you see him, freshness-wise heading into this game and more?
I think he's got to be completely fresh. I think this is a game they'll probably lean on him. I said last week against Claremore before the game, if this game's close, he probably has 20 attempts. Game obviously was not close. So I think for this game, most likely he gets more attempts. But, to be fair, Ricklin Holmes is only a sophomore, and he's a big-built guy. Runs about a 4.5 from what I understand. So he's a heck of a running back as well. And then Braylon Adama was the team's leading rusher last season. So for them, they have plenty of options. If they feel like Rodney is going to benefit them more defensively and they need to keep him fresh for that, I anticipate Coach Jones doing that as well. But like I said, I look for him to have more carries and be more involved in the offense come Saturday.
Have you seen you're doing a good job of analyzing what the other team's doing. And I've been talking about this to several Del City coaches and players, but I just keep getting amazed that, Carl Albert, they probably spread it out a little bit more to their receivers.
Sure.
And Del City hasn't yet because LaDainian just keeps getting so open.
Yeah.
And what do teams even try? Do they play him differently?
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. They put a safety over the top typically. Where teams get in trouble a lot of times is LaDainian can start out on either side of the field, then move into the slot. They'll put him in motion a lot. So they try to play things off of it a little bit. But where teams get in trouble a lot is he will run a lot of middle routes over the middle on slants, and a linebacker's just not quick enough to be able to keep up with someone like LaDainian. So, it's anytime you go man-to-man on him like Claremore did to start the game last week, they did it twice, and they got burned. So,
I couldn't believe that.
You have to have a safety over the top on LaDainian for sure.
All right, so let's talk about the units for these teams. So, Jacob, now we'll talk a little bit of Del City with you here. I haven't seen River Warren have to run for his life very much. So what do you think about Carl Albert's pass rush potentially, especially Caden Davis against the Eagles?
Well, I mean, if you just looked at, I guess, the semifinal matchup against Bishop McGuinness, I didn't feel like they got a whole lot of pressure on the quarterback from Bishop McGuinness. So
Cochran, yeah.
I think that kind of just looking at, yes, that's going to be something they're going to have to emphasize if this is going to go Carl Albert's way. I don't know if they'll be able to do that because I would have figured that kind of seemed like something they could have been emphasizing last week as well, and they didn't really get to the quarterback very much. So, I mean, yes, and I really like Caden Davis, by the way. I think he makes big play after big play for that defense, and so I expect there to be some more of that. I mean, I'm not trying to foreshadow like what I think the game is because I have no idea what they'll end up running out there. But I do think that they have to get more pressure on a quarterback of this caliber if you're going to win a state championship, especially compared to last week. So, yes. Yeah.
All right, Colton, same aspect of the game there. I mean, Del City's offensive line's been tremendous. Does Carl Albert have anything – I don't know how much you've studied them yet, but do they have anything that could be different for the Eagles?
I think they do. They have Marcus James. And so for him, I will be interested to see if they try to turn him loose a little bit to try to get some pressure off the edge, try to open things up a little bit. But, to Jacob's point, I have studied Carl Albert. That's been their weakness, and I think that's the reason Guthrie gave them trouble was their front seven. They've not overwhelmed a lot of people. And so for Del City, it's been quite the opposite. That's why they are able to run as many guys out of the backfield is because their offensive line has done so well. And so that's the matchup. If you're a Del City fan, that's the matchup that you are hoping is going to turn out the way it looks on paper. But to Jacob's point, there's a lot of talent there on Carl Albert, and this is a test for them to see if they're able to go against the big boys against Del City.
So if River Warren does have time, like I said, I would just want to keep a camera on anytime LaDainian is lined up with Tristan Haynes. But the interesting thing about that also is, Jacob, is they've been playing Trey Washington more at safety, and I believe they've been putting someone else at corner, number 8, whose name escapes me at the moment, so apologize to him, but I'll get this here in a second. How do you feel about same type of question, is LaDainian Fields, I would say by quite a bit, he's the best receiver Carl Albert's had to defend. Was anything close to that you've seen this year?
Oh, boy. Not of the ones that I've been to. I can't say for everyone, but of the ones that I've seen, no. I don't think anybody would pose a challenge quite like what Del City is going to be able to for the secondary of Carl Albert in any capacity. So that's another matchup that's very intriguing to me. I know you mentioned this earlier, Colton, but they had talked about throwing it over the middle of the field. I don't feel like Carl Albert's been tested over the middle of the field very much this season. I think that's definitely a spot to keep an eye on. Who knows what will happen in the game? But yeah, that's a spot that I think would make a big difference depending on which way it goes. If they can successfully complete over the middle. Any pass, that's definitely interesting to me. So
yeah.
By the way, DeAndre Dukes is the name of the Carl Albert player that started to play some more cornerback. So Trey Washington can play safety. Colton, that would be one safety who could keep up with LaDainian in theory.
No, I think he can. I think that's going to be a cool matchup. I mean, and to Jacob's point, LaDainian's not going to be able to do it by himself.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be other guys that make plays, and like I mentioned, KD Palmer. only a sophomore, but I've been really impressed with him. When he's gotten opportunities, he's made them. And then Braylon Adama, that kid may be my favorite player on the whole team because he's a senior. He was the leading rusher last year. And then this season, the season starts and they say, hey, we've got this kid named Rodney Fields who's going to come in and play running back. We need you to move to receiver. And he did so with a smile on his face, and he's been tremendous wherever they've asked him to play. So I think Braylon Adama is a guy that is going to be the huge it factor for Del City in this game. I think he's going to be the one that has to step up, make some plays, taking some of that pressure off of LaDainian Fields to where he's not able to be double-teamed quite as much.
Absolutely. Braylon Adama, I would say, and Coach Jones has said this, he's right up there as a player. I mean, he's not getting the attention from colleges that a LaDainian is, or a Tristan Haynes or a Trey Washington, but for this game, he can be better than all three of them.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think so. And Rickland Holmes is the other one. Those are the two keys.
And, of course, well, I'll just see where he lines up because he was playing running back. Talking about Braylon.
Yeah.
But he can also go out at receiver. Any comments about Carl Albert's defense against Rodney Fields for either one of you?
Yeah, I mean, Rodney's going to be the best running back they've faced all season. I don't think there's any question. But the script is reversed in Del City. Xavier Robinson's the best
we'll get to that
they've seen. So, if Carl Albert is not physical in this game, they're going to be in for a really long day trying to chase Rodney and Rickland Holmes. But that's not to say that Carl Albert's not physical. But if they're not ready to go, it's going to be tough for them.
I will say, Jacob, real quick. Carl Albert's seen good running backs. Harper from Guthrie. I know you were at the El Reno game, right? I thought you were.
I think so. Yes.
Malachi Nicholson, of course, yes. he ate up Midwest City. So they have seen some good running backs.
Yeah, and I think now I don't know. I know from what I've seen of Rodney Fields that he's explosive and he's very fast.
Yeah.
I wonder how that will kind of match up with the Carl Albert defense. I would guess the linebackers are probably the strength of this Carl Albert defense, and so meeting the secondary, like getting through that first line of defense is going to be so critical in this game. And I mean, you kind of look at the way that this game has played out, or at least the successful games that have gone against Carl Albert. I mean, at least parts of some of these games. Time of possession has been a big emphasis. Like that first drive Bishop McGuinness had this past week took like 7 or 8 minutes, and if Del City is willing to milk clock and go slower and drive methodically down the field, I feel like this game is going to get really interesting, really fast for Carl Albert. So
that is interesting. They have given up some opening drives that were time-consuming. Happened to El Reno against McGuinness and against Guthrie.
And I think Piedmont did it
multiple times. I forgot about them. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so one more interesting thing about Braylon Adama. This is how I'm going to segue to the other side of the ball. He is the Wildcat in the jumbo package for Del City. And then for Carl Albert, that's Xavier Robinson. So that'll be interesting to see who runs it better. So we saw X throw a touchdown pass against McGuinness. I wonder if Adama will have one. But let's talk about Del City on defense. So, again, we can say this over and over again. Best quarterback they've seen, best running back or whatever. Sure. Cole, do you think Del City can get pressure on Kevin Sperry?
Yes, I think so. Rickland Holmes, like I said, he's only a sophomore, but I think that, when you talk about a comparison, he reminds me in some ways of the high school version of Michael Parsons because he is able to do everything you need him to do. If you can line him up on the edge, he's a tough matchup, and I think he'll bring a lot of pressure. Now, that being said, there's against a guy, like Sperry, you can't just full out rush the edge because then he'll just take off running. You have to stay in your lane. So there's a form of rushing the quarterback that's different. But, Del City, that's a strength of their team, and I think that is something that's going to help them this Saturday. And if they're not able to get pressure, it's going to be a long night.
All right, real quick, I want to go back to the other side of the ball. I forgot to mention, we just talked about Carl Albert linebacker. Easton Harless will be big on that game. But let's go back to when Carl Albert has the ball. Jacob, that offensive line, their starters are all seniors. And, they're not the biggest guys. Some of them have good size, but they just know how to do their job.
Yeah, and I think that in a game like this where you're playing for a state championship and this much is on the line, having experienced players that have been there before is going to be. It could be any number of you could put a value on it. You could just say it's invaluable, just to have those guys. And I think now I'm not sure how long they've been starters. How many of them were playing last year? But
I know a couple guys like Tanner Norman. Was playing for what? Yeah.
Yeah. So you put those guys in a spot like this where they're playing for a state championship. They've been there before. They've done this before. I mean, the expectation is there for them to just continue delivering and essentially playing into their strengths.
Yeah.
All
right. So, Colton, let's talk secondary play here for Del City. Assuming that LaDainian Fields, not that he would neutralize a Tristan Haynes or a Trey Washington, but he's a Division I cornerback more so than a receiver.
Right.
So. That's obviously a strength. We just don't see it much because teams don't even look his way much.
Yeah.
So I believe the other cornerback is Turner. Is that right?
Yeah, Demarion Turner.
Demarion Turner. And so he's going to cover a good receiver no matter who it is.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And Demarion Turner is a player that, John and I talk about weekly that just does not get enough credit for how good he is. He's been a shutdown corner for most of the season. And so he's a key player to watch. His matchup, he's going to have to cover a really good receiver. He did so last week against Claremore as well and did a pretty good job. He's a player that since the second he walked on the field, you could tell there was some explosiveness with him, and he runs a 4.5. So his ability is good enough to cover, the best there is.
And then the safeties, McAllister and Adama, does he mostly play safety?
Yeah, those are your two safeties. And McAllister is a hard-hitting player that, is not afraid to stick his head in there and make a big tackle. And so, he's a great physical ball player. He's kind of a hybrid. He can come down on the line of scrimmage if you need him to as well. And so he's been, again, everybody on the defense has just all been pretty good throughout the whole season. When you're beating teams the way you beat them, it's really hard for me to come up with a bad thing to say or a weakness to find. It's hard to see, really. And so McAllister and Adama, both of them are great safeties as well.
So it'll be interesting to see who is most responsible for covering Marcus James as a tight end, because he had his big touchdown lined up at tight end, but he can also split wide inside. So, Jacob, do you have any thoughts about Marcus James on offense in this game? As far as how active he could be?
I think he could be active. I'm not sure if he'll be as active as maybe what he was down the stretch against Guthrie, where he made the game-winning touchdown catch. But I do think that there is going to be a moment where Marcus James is getting into space and is getting a chance to make a play offensively, and not just line up and tee off as a linebacker, but to be able to step into the other side of the ball and make offensive plays. I'm sure with Tristan Haynes and with Trene Washington, they're going to take a lot of the focus, and then Xavier Robinson on the line is going to take a lot of focus too. So just looking at what Marcus James could be in for, if Kevin Sperry is looking for a guy to throw the football to and these guys are locked up on the outside, Marcus James is the natural choice to probably get more targets than what he has been to this point this season.
And then players like Brackage, one of the receivers. I might be butchering his name, but also Christian Oku could definitely be big there. And Colton, for Del City on defense against Xavier Robinson.
Yeah.
I think it's important that he likes to get a couple yards after he's hit.
Yeah.
Who's going to be real important there? I know Ricklin you mentioned, but who's going to be important there to make sure he goes down as soon as they hit him?
That's going to be Aaron Carter's job. And when Aaron Carter gets his hands on people this season, they go down, and so that's going to be key for them. But that front level, there's a lot of them. They put a lot of guys in the game. They have depth up front, and so Chauncey Jones, Quaylen Goodman, Viliami Lewis. I mean, the list goes on. Those guys are good run stoppers, some of the best in the state, and they've not really had teams have not had a lot of success running the football, except for sometimes in the third quarter. It seems like in the third quarter a little bit, Del City starts a little slow defensively. And we've seen it multiple times where Coach Jones has to call a timeout and get them refocused a little bit. So, that's one concern that I have in the game. But against Carl Albert, I don't see anybody on either side getting up by 20 points, 30 points in this game. So losing focus really shouldn't be an issue.
No, it shouldn't. And, of course, we should mention Del City really contained Guthrie's running back Harper very well and put him in some passing situations that Guthrie wasn't ready for.
Right.
Now, Carl Albert, of course, would be a little bit different story here. Let's talk about this. If Carl Albert is used to being hit in the mouth and responding, Del City is not. That hasn't happened to him really since that Choctaw game.
Sure.
So what do you guys think about that? Is it more important than for Del City to get off to a good start because of that? Both of you can answer that.
I'll let you go first.
Well, I mean, I think if that is the case and they haven't been accustomed to bouncing back from getting hit in the mouth early, sure. I mean, you want to get off to a good start if you can. I think that would be just as valuable for Carl Albert to get out to a quick start because you'd be exploiting a weakness that may be there or may not be there, but you don't know. It's never been an issue yet. So, I think both teams will be looking to get out to an early lead. I think it's probably more critical for Del City to get out to an early lead, but we'll see how it goes. I think that could go either way. So
I agree with that. I mean, I think for Del City, they haven't really been hit in the mouth, I guess, early, but they did face some adversity last week against Claremore. Even though it didn't seem like it, we could feel some tension in the booth. John and I could. Where they were up by 20 points, and that seemed like a big lead. Normally that would be, but Claremore is one of those teams that just had come from behind. They had stuck around in ball games and found ways to win, and we felt a little uncomfortable in the booth, and they did face some adversity. And Claremore was driving the field a little bit, and Del City got a big stop, and then a huge answer to start the fourth quarter, went right down the field and hit Ladanian and Fields for a touchdown. So, not a lot of adversity. Coach Jones and I have talked about that, and, he just believes, and he's very confident in how tough his football team is mentally and physically. And so I think whether or not they get down 14 points or if they're up 14 points, I truly, truly believe, just from the team that I've watched, they're mature enough to handle both sides of it, and they're capable of coming back, and they're also capable of holding on to a lead as well.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Obviously, no one's going to think Del City will panic if they get down 7-0.
Right.
It's just that it hasn't happened. Nothing for them to apologize for, that they always score their first drive and they just build and build and build in that first half.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. But in Carl Albert, a lot of those games where they did fall down early, they came back and won via blowout. Just not against Guthrie, but the rest of the time, they pulled away.
Yeah.
What do you think about the coaches? I mean, Carl Albert's got more experienced coaches, but Del City so far, their Coach Jones obviously has been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
But it'll be his first obviously championship game as head coach. Mike Dunn did it last year, but he's got coaches that have been at Carl Albert for a while too. So, what do you guys think of? And not only that, they go way back from playing together in high school to coaching together in the state of Texas to coaching together at Del City. So, what do you think about these head coaches and the coaching staffs?
Yeah, I mean, look, Coach Dunn was at Del City when I first started, and Coach Dunn, I would consider him a friend. His family are great people. I think the world of him. I think he's a heck of a football coach, and I think Coach Jones is a great football coach as well. Coach Looney over there with Carl Albert has done a heck of a job as well. And Del City, Kilby McGuire, I mean, his play calling ability has been really good this year. And it's easy to call plays when you have really good players, you would think, right? But really, whenever you're an offensive coordinator and you have really good players, to me, that shows how good of a play caller you can be, because if you're not putting in good calls, you can put them in bad situations. And he's not done that. Kilby's been great. He's young. He's younger than me. He's still in his 20s, and he's got a bright future. And so really this is two of the best coaching staffs in the state. I think the world of both of them, and I think that's a one that we can call a even match with coaching. I really do.
I could reiterate the exact same thing. I think it will be an even match. And, I mean, I know it's obvious to say this is nobody would be shocked by it, but, I mean, it's not going to be a mismatch in any capacity in terms of football. Like, both these coaching staffs know what they're doing. So whenever we're watching the game, and they know each other. So even more on the line for that reason. So, yeah. I don't see any. I don't think the coaching staffs will be mismatched in any capacity. I think they're both ready to go. So.
Yeah.
And we should mention Jarvis Kelly for Del City.
Yeah.
Because Coach Jones let go of the reins of calling defense, and it worked pretty well. Because they've had 3 straight shutouts.
Yeah.
But also some other really low-scoring games for him.
Yeah, where most of the points actually were scored late in the game, kind of whenever it was,
That was the case against Guthrie and
for sure.
And Claremore.
Coach Kelly's done a great job too. I feel bad I didn't just mention him because really he's done a heck of a job. And again, same can be said for Kilby as Coach Kelly. They both just, I think for both of them, it's like, hey, let's just not get in these kids' way. Let's let these kids go make some plays, and that's what's really cool, I think, about this coaching staff and the season they've had. It's been special because of that. It's all about the leadership, and these players, they love their coaches. I've been at the practices. I've seen them. They look at them as role models and trust them, and I think the coaches have that same feeling and same respect towards the players.
Now, I had forgot to mention special teams, and Coach Dunn mentions his special teams coach, Coach Farley, more than any coach. So because it seems like Carl Albert always has something up their sleeve. And then there's the kicking game where Carl Albert, I don't know if they missed until the end of the Bishop McGinnis game. They made several extra points in a row, and Del City has been as consistent at that.
Yeah.
So that if it's a close game, that obviously could mean something. What do you see about the special teams for Colton? We'll start with you for Del City.
Yeah, I think that's, as far as the kicking game goes, Carl Albert's got an advantage there, and I don't mean any disrespect to Ricklin, who's punting and kicking, and Byron Parama, who's doing the kicking duties. I don't mean any disrespect towards them,
right.
But that's a clear advantage for Carl Albert, and Guthrie, and Del City knows that. Against Guthrie, they missed an extra point, I think one of them, and they've missed a couple here and there. But Byron's done a pretty good job on extra points. I think Coach Jones has enough faith in him to go out there and do it. This is a guy who didn't start the season on the football team. He came on a little bit later from soccer, from what I understand, and so he's had to learn, and it's been a process for him. But he's gotten better every week, and I think they have a lot of faith in him to be able to kick extra points. Outside of that, you'll probably see a lot of fourth down tries if it gets to that for Del City.
Well, one of these things about Del City, we'll get to Carl Albert. They're one of the most aggressive teams I've seen on returning punts. They get a 95-yard punt return from Madama. You normally don't see punt returns when it's fielded inside the 10.
Right.
So they're always going to have someone trying to return for them, and that seems to be where they have a special teams advantage.
Yeah, and it's him and Ladanian both. They send them both back, and you can go and watch that Guthrie game. It's not just them; it's the blocking they do. They are coached really well on special teams, and they know how to block and set up returns. They've done that almost every year. And I made a couple jokes in the booth with John. When there is a good punt, that's when I tell John, all right, people, everybody get your popcorn ready because you're about to get a show. We've seen numerous teams this season kick the ball out of bounds intentionally. Even if it's only like a 10 or 15-yard punt, they'd rather have that than one of those guys take it to the house. They're dangerous. That's an element for Del City that helps them a lot, and I think it could be important this Saturday.
I'd reiterate that I think both kick return units are probably going to be favored over the kick coverage units in this matchup.
That would make it fun.
Tristan Haynes has returned punts as well, just like that. I think they had one called back earlier this year, if I remember right. But
he's had kickoffs too, I believe.
Yeah, and kickoffs. So I think that will definitely be a part of this game in some capacity. Somebody's going to make a play. I'm interested to see which side it is. It might be both sides for all we know. But, I think you hit it right on the head. And then as far as the kicking goes, I think somebody mentioned on your broadcast at the game this past week, it might have been the first missed extra point that I've seen Ethan
they had a bobbled one against Muskogee, but they ended up converting it for 2, so it didn't hurt him. Otherwise, he's been Speedwalk has been incredibly consistent for him. And then it just seems like Coach Farley will try to expose something because they had for example, the blocked punt that they had against Collinsville when they're punting with their quarterback. You don't normally see that because the punter usually gets rid of it so quick. But they had part of it was they didn't block him well. The guy that got the block, that was Cooper Brackage. But then they also will try to find a soft spot when they kick off too. So does Carl Albert, do you see that more from them than maybe other teams as far as they will try some things on special teams? They'll have tricks up their sleeve?
Well, I think their tricks are more conventional tricks. I think some of the teams that I've seen play Carl Albert have intentionally pooch kicked it kind of short, almost like an onside kick, that level area of the field just to prevent a return. And I mean, I think probably just as much so they could just kick it out of bounds and take the 10-yard or 15 yards and call it good. But, you know, I mean, that's now, is there going to be any tricks per se? I don't know.
Well, no one knows,
as conventional wisdom would say maybe there will be something unusual that would happen in a game of this magnitude. So,
Colton, we have seen Del City. The teams have tried to trick them. On kickoffs.
Right.
I think now McAllister did it 3 different ways on a fake extra point, onside kick that wasn't really expected because it started the second half, and then a fake punt. And then I thought Claremore tried it too early in the game, I believe.
Claremore did try it, and you'll have to forgive me. I can't remember why it didn't work. I think the ball went out of bounds. That's what it was.
Yeah,
I think it was like
close.
The nose of the football went out of bounds, or Claremore would have had it. So yeah, that's a good point. You're right, and that's something I think. I think Del City will be ready for that in this game, and I just don't see either team, unless it gets crazy, I don't see either team really trying a whole lot of those crazy things as far as the kicking game goes. But they could. I could be totally wrong. You never know. But I think both these teams have enough trust and confidence, quite frankly, in their units.
Okay, so but Del City's seen it. That's the important thing. They've seen it, so
right.
They've definitely had to learn from that, you would think.
Sure.
Okay, so now, Colton, I know in the past you have not wanted to predict the score or predict the winner.
Right.
I assume that's still true?
Yeah, I won't do that tonight.
No. I don't want to do that either, even though I'm not on either side. I just don't know what to say. Jacob, do you by any chance want to make a prediction?
I couldn't tackle that. I have no idea.
Okay.
And I will say I think it'll be a close game, and I think it'll come to turnovers. A couple of my friends and I were just talking about this before I got here tonight. When you go back and you watch big football games, and obviously in the state of Oklahoma, one of the biggest games is Texas and OU, right? You know, in that rivalry, when those two teams are both good and they both play each other, the winner of that game comes down to 2 things. It comes down to turnovers, it comes down to who's more physical. Those are normally the 2 biggest things. And you look at it this season, Texas turned the ball over 3 times, they lost the game. And that is the way this game's going to go. It's going to come down to who's more physical and who wins the turnover battle. I think that's it. I don't know who that's going to be. That's for you to decide at home, but we'll find that out on Saturday. But I think that's the ultimate decision maker both ways.
Okay, so since you won't predict the score, and by the way, neither team is very turnover prone, so that's going to be an interesting part of it. But anyway, what if we set an over-under? So let's say I make it try to come up with a good number here. I think the weather's going to be nice.
Yeah.
So I would set it at, let's say, 56. So that's like 29-27 at its closest. Would you take the under or over?
I'd take the over.
I would,
if that was the number.
Yeah, I'd probably take the under, to be honest.
You guys should have a bet going on.
And I know that's crazy. I'm thinking that. I think both defenses are going to play well, and I think early on in the game, probably especially so. I think you might see some points later in the game, but I think early. Usually when you see 2 teams that are both really athletic and on that same level, it does take a while to get some scoring going sometimes, especially a championship game. There's some nerves there. But you never know. But, yeah, I mean, I could see it going either way. I would lean in a championship game a little more towards the under. If it was a regular season game, I'd probably be with Jacob and say the over.
Okay. I would take the over, but I could still see the defenses playing well because I could also see returns, whether it's defense, punt returns, kickoff returns. So I would take the over. By the way, 56 was the total last year when Carl Albert won. They weren't really tested when they won state last year, except the Del City game kind of was close at one point, but Carl Albert pulled away. It was low scoring.
Right.
But they won 49-7 against McAllister, so there's your 56. But anyway, yeah, I could see it going a little bit over. So then the question is, which color commentator will criticize the refs more, Colton or Mike Goff? I'm kidding, Mike, but I wish you were here. But I'm glad to have Jacob here. No, that's just, you don't have to say anything, Colton.
I was about to say, I don't want to say, I don't want to
Here's the deal.
upset Coach Goff. I got to see him on Saturday.
I am kidding, kind of. I say it with love. That's how I should put it, because I think it'll be Mike Goff. But anyway, I can't wait for the game. So I'm personally happy that this game is on a 1 o'clock game on a Saturday. I'm sorry you two have to miss the Big 12 title game. Because Colton, I know you're a big Texas fan, and Jacob obviously showing who you're a fan of.
Yeah.
So I'll do my best to make sure when if I go, and I planned on being there, and I walk by either one of you, not to tell you the score. If you're
appreciate that. Anybody watching this, if you see me at that game, if you say a score, it may not be good for you. So
you've been warned. Don't give any updates. That game starts a little earlier, but I know you guys will want to get out to the game fairly early too. All right. Well, thank you guys both. Hey, Colton, if Del City wins, I want you back here next week.
Okay.
We hope to have a big celebration for them, and you're invited either way, of course. Jacob, same with you either way. But if Carl Albert wins, we want to fill this place up. So thank you guys both for your time, and we look forward to hearing your call, Colton.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate you having us.
And Jacob, I know you have a good write-up of the game, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll make sure we'll have one on the Midwest City Beacon. So
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right. When we come back, I did get an interview in with Coach Mike Dunn, so stay tuned for that. And again, you're watching the Middle Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
What business do you want to start?
I want to start a car mechanic shop.
Let's say we go to Scissor King.
Ready to go get some coffee?
Yeah, let's go. But it's a great space.
Yeah, and it's so close to downtown.
You want to go grab something to eat? Let's do it.
What did you working on? Last Wednesday or last Friday?
You got it.
I think she was from
1,
Rose State.
2, 3.
Woohoo!
Congratulations, Rose State college graduates.
Experience the best wash in town at Tommy's Express. You'll love our open and bright tunnels, easy loading flat belt conveyor, unlimited membership, and free vacuums and mat washers. Experience the difference and visit Tommy's Express today.
Red Plains Plumbing has been offering reliable commercial and residential services to the OKC metro area for over a decade. From new construction and remodeling to residential repair, they can handle jobs of all sizes. When you need a trusted name in plumbing, it's Red Plains Plumbing. Family owned and operated. Phone 405-769-1922. That's 405-769-1922.
Okay, happy to be joined by Carl Albert head coach Mike Dunn. Carl Albert is in the finals again after they beat Bishop McGuinness this past Friday. All right, Coach, this game was kind of similar to some other games you had where McGuinness struck first and took a 7-0 lead. And I thought that a big change of a turn of events for you guys was kind of some self-inflicted wounds by Bishop McGuinness in that second quarter. But just talk about how you guys were able to take advantage of that after you're trailing 7-3 heading into the second quarter.
Yeah, well, they did a great job of scheming up a first drive there and kept the ball out of our hands. I think it was almost a 9-minute drive, and they got into the end zone. They made plays on third down and fourth down and extended their drive, and they just made all the plays on that drive. We didn't make enough plays to get off the field. And I told our guys afterwards that I was really proud of their response, because after that we went down and had a long drive, kicked the field goal, and then we got a stop, and then we scored, got another stop, got a turnover, scored, just finished out the half really strong. And from then on, we pretty much rolled. And so really good to see your guys respond after someone anytime this year when you play somebody in the state semifinals, it's going to be a good football team. And those guys went and threw a punch at us, and we threw back. So that's what you want to see in those kind of games.
Okay, so let's talk about the first touchdown. And Bishop McGuinness did what a lot of teams would do. They sold out against the heavy package for an Xavier Robinson run. So it was a perfect time to get to that pass. Just talk about what made you decide to go for it on fourth down after kicking a field goal the previous drive, and just the design of the play.
Yeah, well, I asked Coach Jay, if Coach Johnson, our offense coordinator, I said, "Hey, you got something you like here?" And he said, "Yeah." And Coach Johnson's the one, he'll always tell me whether he likes it or not, and on that one he answered pretty quickly and said, "Yeah, I got something, let's go." And so when he had confidence, obviously I had confidence, and I said, "Let's go for it," and so I just felt like one of those times the momentum was changing, the momentum was going in our favor. It just felt like the right time to go for something like that. And he made that play call, and as soon as he said it, I thought, "Oh yeah, that's gonna be perfect," so yeah, it was just great timing, which Coach Johnson does a great job of that. He's always got great timing when he runs those plays.
And then the next drive, McGuinness made kind of a bad turnover. They tried to pitch the ball when they probably shouldn't have, but that's because you guys anticipated that play so well. It was basically an option play to their left, to your right, and you guys basically ate that play up, and that got you your second possession. I believe that was, if it wasn't inside the red zone, it was close. At this point, you're up 10-7 after, of course, the X to Marcus James touchdown pass. So what was what did you guys see there that allowed for you to anticipate that play and force a turnover there?
Well, we worked that all week long. The game that we played them before, they gave us some stuff that we hadn't seen from them. And so we worked a lot of that, and they were successful running some of that. And so we worked it all week long and talked to our guys about option responsibilities and made sure that we were sound on that. And our guys just played it perfect. We had a guy on the quarterback, we had a guy on the pitch, and then we had another one slow playing both of them. And so, quarterback, you could see it from our sideline. You kind of saw his eyes get wide, and then he ended up, trying to force that pitch in there. And our kids did a good job of rallying and jumping on the ball. So we prepared for it all week long, and kids just went out and executed. It was really good on our kids' part.
So to recap again, Bishop McGuinness up 7-3. They snapped the ball over their head on a punt. You guys take advantage of it. Next drive, they fumble deep in their own territory. You guys take advantage of it. You're up 17-7 at this point. And then they decide to go for it on fourth down 17-7 late in the second quarter. And I kind of thought that was a bit of a desperation move by them, but it would have looked fine if it worked. And you guys kept it from working. Right. You got another stop, and once again you got the ball with unbelievably good field position. And so another good defensive play we want to highlight. What was key to that fourth down stop?
Oh, anytime you've got your big groups out there, your heavy groups, I mean, it's all about effort and how hard you play and making sure you play with great technique. But we had saw from the previous couple of weeks that they were going to rely on their quarterback. They're going to snap him the ball, and he was going to get downhill. They really liked quarterback ISO in those situations. And so we kind of had a beat on what we thought they were going to do. And they do a great job over there. McGinnis, their offensive coordinator, a guy named Ryan Stringer, who, I mean, he schemes up some really good stuff. And so, but we thought we had a beat on that. And so I felt like our kids, we worked that quite a bit throughout the week and worked it in, especially in big downs and big moments. You know, ball is going to be in his hands. And our guys just did a good job of bottling it up. You know, you've got to reestablish the line of scrimmage, and our guys did that on that play. But that was probably honestly the play of the half, you know, because then at that point, get a score, and now momentum's all in your favor.
And so then the touchdown pass to Xavier Robinson. So X has had a touchdown pass, a touchdown reception before he had a touchdown run, interestingly enough. And so it's the second time that I've seen you guys use your running back, lining up in the backfield, and then running a fairly deep route, not like a screen pass or something in the flat. Is that something you guys recently added to your repertoire?
No, not really. I mean, we've got it. We've got that tag if we want it. We've got that tag. We can tag pretty much on anything. Our running backs have a route tree, and we can tag anytime we want, really.
Yeah. And then I heard the announcer say, I didn't catch it myself, but you were X. One more question about Xavier, I guess. That he was playing some linebacker.
I
missed that?
He's in a package that we run.
Okay.
It's like it's a down and distance, like, you know, victory defense type of thing that we do. But yeah, he's in a package that we'll put out there every once in a while.
Okay. And you guys did well again in the second half, put the game away. And so now we can finally talk Del City, something I wanted to ask you about for a while, but had to wait for the right time. So here it is. First, just your general view of this particular Eagle team. A lot of similarities. You know, they got that good all-purpose running back, Bedlam running back, and Rodney Fields. They got a quarterback who's a lot like Kevin, who can throw the ball and run as well. They got some terrific speed, including a Division I receiver and cornerback. So, again, a lot of similarities. But what are your thoughts about this particular Del City team?
I think you just said it. I mean, it's a group of great athletes. It's very well coached. You know, Coach Jones and his guys always do a great job, and they're very disciplined. They're very sound in all phases of the game, and they're just really tough. I mean, and they're fast. I mean, they're everywhere. There's not a position that's not fast. They play fast. They react fast. They just do a lot of things right, you know, and that's a testament to their coaches. It's also a testament to their kids. Their kids do a great job, and you know, we've watched a lot of film on them just like they've watched on us, and I'm sure they're scratching their head too at some of the stuff they see from us, and we're scratching our head stuff that we see from them, and I think it's going to be a fun ball game.
I want to ask you a little bit about your time at Del City, because there's a lot of overlap for both you and Coach Jones, because he went to Carl Albert. You coached at Del City for a few years, similar to Gary Rose, who coached at Del City for several years. When you went there in 2017, I mean, they weren't in a bad place, but you helped bring them to a different level as far as success during the regular season in the district, and then the momentum kept going with Coach Jones. When you look back at that, what do you think about the strides Del City's made when you were there to now?
Yeah, man, just really proud. I mean, obviously Robert Jones is one of my best friends in the world, and watching him excel and do great things over there and lead those guys and lead his staff and his program, it's pretty awesome. Obviously I'm proud of that, you know, and there's a lot of kids that I still have close relationships with today that are over there, and guys that are in college now. You know, the other day, Thanksgiving, I had probably 5 or 6 former Del City kids that text me and said, "Happy Thanksgiving, Coach," you know, and so got a lot of love for those guys and for Coach Jones and for the whole program. And so obviously, you know, as a guy that was there, I'm very proud of what they're doing. And it was funny. I was actually texting with the principal that was there when I was there, Gina Hill, and I told her, you know, if I wasn't coaching in this game, I'd probably be over on the sideline wearing Del City stuff and helping Coach Jones, you know, win a game, you know, because we're really close, and I really have a lot of respect for those guys, and you know, just like our kids deserve to go out and play in this game, their kids do as well. So, yeah, I've got a lot of pride, and I'm proud of everything that they're continuing to do over there.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to play for their first state title, and I've heard it was 47 years, so you can imagine the anticipation they'll have and the hunger.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll be fired up, ready to go. I know that. It's a Coach Jones led team. They're going to be fired up, ready to roll.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate you being able to give us your time. I know you weren't feeling great, but we thank you very much for that. And hey, if you guys win next week, please come on over and let's have a celebration.
Got it. I appreciate it.
All right. Okay, so we got a bonus time here. We get to talk with Carl Albert linebacker Caden Davis. Caden, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
How's practice been these last few days?
It's been really good. We've probably had our best week of practice so far. We have an extra day to prepare for them, and it's been really good. Everybody's flying around and really happy to play this week.
How do you feel about your game against Bishop McGuinness a few days ago?
I feel like the defense played really well. We had a bad start to begin with, but we figured it out, made a few adjustments, and we felt pretty good about it.
Okay, now your opponent, Del City, they score on their first drive every game. What's going to be important for your defense not to get off to a bad start in this game coming up?
Just getting off on third downs and getting them to second and long, not second and medium and manageable situations. We want to put stress on them a little bit. I think that would be really beneficial to us.
And what's it going to take for you guys to get a pass rush going against River Warren?
Our guys have we have guys that can pass rush really well. I think I pass rush pretty well, and Brock and Steven and AJ, I think just understanding the situation when we got to go get them is just how it is. We just got to win our matchups one-on-one.
Now, you've got to get some good running backs like Harper from Guthrie, Nicholson from El Reno. How would you describe going up against Rodney Fields?
He's a really good player. We played him last year at Southeast, and he was a really good player then and a really good player now. And we have to tackle well. He breaks a lot of tackles. We got to tackle well and finish the play till the end, till the whistle.
All right. Do you expect to play any role on offense in this game coming up?
Yeah, I'm on the goal line type situation package, short yardage, but yeah, I mean wherever they need me, they know they have me, and we'll let X do his thing, and if he needs one, I got him. So.
Well, I know you like to hit people, so that's a good package for you. But talk about offense. Let's go ahead and go back a couple weeks to that touchdown catch you had against Collinsville, because that was quite a highlight. What worked for you on that play?
We knew watching film that week that if they're in this situation that this would be open, and the play call that I just had, it was there, and Kevin threw me a great ball and made it really easy for me to make a catch.
You didn't make it look easy with that diving catch, but it was spectacular. I have to give you a lot of credit for that. Any more keys to this game coming up against Del City before we let you go?
Just getting off the field on third down, making plays on special teams, all three phases. That's about it. Just play hard.
All right, Caden. Well, I really appreciate your time. And if you guys win, I want you to come here next week so we can celebrate on the air. Can we do that?
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Caden. And we'll go and cut this show right here, right now, but I want to say a couple things. Once again, I want to thank Buffalo Wild Wings for hosting this show throughout this semester, and it's going to happen next semester. I'm looking forward to that. We will have a show next week. We're going to celebrate the winner of Del City Carl, but that's the plan anyway. We just hope we can get some coaches and players to commit to that. Of course, we got to see, because they're going to be in demand for being the top team in 5A, and they'll be the defending champs for another year at least. And but we plan on having that. That'll be the final show for this semester next week on December 5th. So we're really looking forward to that. I want to appreciate all the help I've gotten from the Brasi brothers, Cedric as being the main camera operator, Jacoby, running producer. They'll be busy, of course, doing for the Del City broadcast. I also want to thank our production assistants for helping, Alicia Wooden and Amaya Robinson. And what a game we have coming up. And I want to leave you with that. One last thing to say about that game before we go off the air is that both teams being undefeated and having a lot of star power, a lot of Division I players, Carl Albert will see the best quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and I believe even defense that they've seen all year. And for Del City, it will be the same. Best quarterback, best wide receivers, best running back, best offensive line, best defense they've seen. So the fact that that's going to happen is amazing. You have two teams that their average margin of victory, I haven't looked at it, will be very high. You know, they win usually by about 30 points or more. And one of those teams is not going to win the state title. One of those teams is going to lose Saturday. That's amazing to me because it's going to be a really, really good team. And we can't wait for this matchup. We'll have two different broadcasts for you, of course. You can see the Carl Albert broadcast on the Carl Albert channel where Kirk Norman and Mike Goff will have it for you. It's audio only, but they'll have a lot of great insight. Coverage for that will start at 12:30, kickoff, of course, at 1. And, again, the Del City broadcast, Captain Kilty, he has been hyping up the Del City community for this game, and he'll be ready to go along with Colton Fleetwood and their team. Again, coverage starts at 12:30, kickoff at 1. Also check social media after the game, different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We will be talking about the results of this game for several days. We cannot wait, and I know you'll be watching in some form or fashion for Del City versus Carl Albert. In the meantime, though, we're glad we can be here tonight talking about it because those two teams are in this game. So we really appreciate those teams for doing what they've been doing, the coaches, the players here at Mid-Del, total class all the way around. All right, that'll do it for tonight. We thank you again for watching the Mid-Del Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.